let's just go ahead and start the quiz. This is a grammar quiz for beginner to intermediate English learners. And I will give you the question, and then I will give you a moment to think of the answer, and then we will talk about it. So here is your first question. You have less than hour to complete this quiz. Which article are you going to use? A, an, or the? You have less than hour to complete this quiz. The correct answer, which I'm sure you chose, is an hour. So we're going to use an indefinite article because we're talking about any hour. It's not specific. And we're going to use an because it comes before a word that begins with a vowel sound. So remember, we will use a before words that begin with a consonant sound and an before words that begin with a vowel sound like hour, an hour. And throughout the quiz, I want you to keep watching. I want you to participate. And this leads us into the next question. I will try to keep it Okay. Which adjective are you going to use? I'll try to keep it We're talking about the difference between ed adjectives and ing adjectives. I hope that you chose interesting. I'll try to keep it interesting. So you're going to use ed adjectives to describe the way a person feels, bored, confused, interested. You're going to use ing adjectives to describe a thing, a situation, or even a person's characteristic. Boring, confusing, interesting. So in this case, I'm talking about the quiz, it. I'll try to keep it interesting. And I like to think that all of my lessons are interesting. And if you would like to continue learning with me, please subscribe, turn on notifications so that I can become your English teacher. My name is Wes, and Interactive English, it's all about helping you reach your fluency goals. You can also get a PDF copy of this grammar quiz along with the answers when you click on the link down below. And yes, it will be yours. And I will also send you some other cool stuff from time to time. Here is the next question. I went to the store a few days. Which word are you going to use to complete this sentence? I went to the store a few days. So these words are commonly confused, especially in spoken English. The answer is ago. I went to the store a few days ago. And we're going to use ago when we're talking about an unknown time before the present. And you'll often find it like with that expression, a few days ago, a few months ago, a few years ago. So it's not exact and it is unknown. We use before with time expressions that count back from a past moment. If I were to say, before I brush my teeth, all right, brushing my teeth, that might be the past moment, but then something happened before. So just remember the difference between these two. Ago we use with unknown times before the present. And the next one, I get up 7:30 a.m. Which preposition are you going to use? In, on, at. The correct answer is at. So I get up at 7:30 a.m. If we're talking about time, then you're going to use at when talking about a specific time, at 7:30 a.m., at 5 p.m., at midnight. You will use in with expressions of time, like in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, and you will use on if you're just talking about like a day, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday. So there are rules when it comes to using these different prepositions. They're good to know. And then I have, well, this sentence for you. I have been here a while. I have been here a while. Will you complete this sentence with for or since? And these words are commonly used when using the present perfect. And the correct answer is for. I have been here for a while. The reason for that is because for refers to a period of time, whereas since refers to a specific point in time. In this case, I'm talking about a while, a period of time, so we'll use for. I have been here for a while. And for the next one, I'm just going to let my daughter tell it to you.
I want juice, please.
Aww. All right, so which word completes this sentence? I would like juice, please. These words can be a little confusing. The correct answer is some. I would like some juice, please. Because, well, you can use some or any with both count nouns and non-count nouns, but you're going to use some with the affirmative. And you will use any with the negative, like I don't want any juice, or with questions. Do you have any juice? In this case, she's using it in the affirmative, so she would say,
I want some juice, please.
Okay, all right. The next one that I have for you, there a lot of children at the playground. When we go to the playground, this is what I would say. There a lot of children at the playground. Are you going to use is or are? The correct answer is are. There are a lot of children at the playground. So when trying to decide between there is, there are, it still really depends on the noun. Is it a singular noun or a plural noun? In this case, the noun that the sentence is referring to, we're talking about children. Children is an irregular plural noun, so we will use are. There are a lot of children at the playground. And then I want to give you an idiom. How would you complete this sentence? You need to pull together. So, well, it's part of the idiom. To pull together means to recover control over your emotions. So I'm not giving you any choices. Hopefully you're able to just look at it and think about it, maybe say it out loud, and you know that the answer is yourself. We're going to use a reflexive pronoun. You need to pull yourself together, to pull oneself together. And we use reflexive pronouns to refer to a preceding noun or pronoun. So in this case, in this sentence, that is you. I'm talking to you. You need to pull yourself together. So I'm not telling you that. I'm sure you have complete control over your emotions, but hopefully, maybe you've learned a new idiom. You need to pull yourself together. And then we have this sentence, the money was stolen. And I just want you to tell me, is this an active sentence or a passive sentence? I hope that you said passive. The money was stolen is a passive sentence. And you really just need to know the difference between active sentences and passive sentences. In general, active sentences, it's when the subject is performing the action. If I were to say, I stole the money, in that case, I am performing the action, stealing the money, it's an active sentence. With passive sentences, the subject is receiving the action, in this case, the money. The money was stolen, and then you could add by someone to the end of that. The money was stolen by Wes. It's just an example. I'm not going to steal your money. And then I could tell you this. You speak English really? Which word are you going to use? Good or well? You speak English really well. Okay, so the difference between good and well is really their part of speech. Good is an adjective, so I could say something like, wow, you're really good at speaking English. In that case, it's an adjective like you are good. If I say you speak English really well, well, that is an adverb. It modifies the verb speak. You do something well, you speak English well. Here is the next one, and it's a little tricky. I'm late because I stopped you a present. Which one are you going to use? To buy or buying? And I say it's tricky because, well, you can follow the verb stop with either the gerund or the infinitive, but they have different meanings. With this sentence, you should follow it with the infinitive. I'm late because I stopped to buy you a present. So if we follow it with the infinitive, stop to do something, it's like you stop what you're doing in order to do something, in this case, in order to buy you a present. If I were to follow it with the gerund, stop doing something, in that case, I'm talking about something I'm just not going to do anymore. So if I say, yeah, last year I stopped exercising, I'm just no longer doing it. So just be careful with this verb. You can follow it with either the gerund or the infinitive, but it has a different meaning. And then I have a conditional sentence for you. If I were you, I ask for help. Should you use will or would? The correct answer is would, because this sentence is in the second conditional. The second conditional, it refers to an unlikely or hypothetical situation. If I were you, I would ask for help. So you're going to use the past simple in the condition, that if statement, if I were you, and then you'll use would plus the base verb in the result. I would ask for help. And then there's this sentence, my mother me to talk to him. Which word are you going to use? I'm really asking you if you know the past tense of the verb forbid. My mother me to talk to him. So this is an irregular verb. So the answer is forbade. My mother forbade me to talk to him if we're talking about the past simple. And I will say it's not a verb that you're going to use every day. I just wanted to test your knowledge a little bit of irregular verbs in the past tense. So remember, with this verb, you have forbid, forbade, which is the past simple, and forbidden is the past participle. Here's the next one, also a little tricky. This checkout line is for people with 10 items or Are you going to use fewer or less? These words are commonly confused. So the correct answer is fewer. This checkout line is for people with 10 items or fewer. So fewer and less are commonly confused, but you're going to use fewer when talking about count nouns, and you will use less when talking about non-count nouns. So in this sentence, items, it's plural, it's a count noun, so you should use fewer. The thing that makes it difficult is that in many stores, especially in the United States, you will see signs like this, 10 items or less. I don't know why they're just breaking this grammar rule, but just be aware of it. Use fewer when talking about count nouns. Here's the next one, also I think a little tricky. I now have a picture than before. Are you going to say clearer or more clear? The answer is clearer. I now have a clearer picture than before. So the general rule that you should follow when we're talking about comparatives, you're going to add ER when we're talking about short one-syllable words like clear, clearer. And you're going to use more with words that have 2 or more syllables, like more famous or more fascinating. And I say that, well, this can be a little tricky because you may hear people use more clear in spoken English. Not the majority of the time, but it will happen. I know some even say it's acceptable, so just be aware of that. But even if you were to look at the frequency in which these words are used, of course, you see that it's much more common to say clearer. The reason why I think that people end up saying more clear is because you have this adjective that ends with an R, and it's a little more challenging to say that "-er" at the end, clearer. So I think people just sometimes find it just easier to use more in that case. But just be aware, the answer is clearer. So in the comments, let me know how you did. There were 15 questions in total. Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope that if some of this was a little confusing, you now have a clearer picture than before, and I'm sure this was easy for you to follow and understand because you know English grammar really well. So if you enjoyed the lesson, please hit that like button. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. So long.